People call you intense, talkative, distracted, maybe even annoying. You interrupt stories, over-explain everything, zone out in the middle of conversations, and obsess over the smallest details. Sound familiar? You've probably been told to. Calm down, stop overthinking, or just let it go. But what if I told you these habits, the same ones that get you labeled as weird or difficult, might actually be signs of a high-functioning brain, not flawed, not broken, just brilliant in disguise. Welcome to the misunderstood world of strange, frustrating, sometimes socially awkward behaviors that often point to intelligence most people don't even recognize. Let's break down 12 daily habits that people misread and how they might be proof that your mind is doing something extraordinary beneath the surface. First, let's talk about fidgeting. If you're someone who constantly taps your fingers, bounces your leg, plays with your hair, or clicks your pen during class, meetings, or conversations, you've likely been told to stop. But here's what people don't realize. Fidgeting isn't a distraction, it's a focus tool. Research shows that for people with high cognitive engagement, especially those with ADHD tendencies or overactive minds, small physical movements help regulate attention. These movements increase dopamine flow, keep the brain alert, and prevent mental fatigue. So while others see restlessness, your brain sees it as fuel. Second, let's talk about interrupting. You're not trying to dominate the conversation or be rude, you're just fast. Your brain hears a few words, makes connections, jumps ahead to the conclusion, and wants to respond before the moment passes. That's verbal processing speed. It's common in people with strong analytical or creative abilities. You're not impatient, you're thinking 3 steps ahead, and trying to fit your ideas into a slower conversation. It's frustrating, yes. But it's also a sign that your brain is firing rapidly. Next, info dumping. You know the feeling? Someone mentions something you love, and suddenly, you're 15 minutes deep into a detailed explanation of ancient mythology, quantum physics, or obscure film theory. You didn't mean to take over. You were just excited. This tendency to overshare in detail is often seen in people with passionate curiosity and intense focus. It's called hyperfocus, and it's a core trait of both neurodivergent minds and highly intelligent ones. It's not about bragging, it's about sharing the joy of deep understanding. Fourth on the list, over-explaining everything. You constantly clarify, justify, and add context even when nobody asked. It may seem like insecurity, but often it's a sign of emotional intelligence combined with high verbal reasoning. You don't want to be misunderstood, so you anticipate confusion and fill in the blanks before they even form. While others offer vague answers, you construct layered responses. That's not over-explaining, that's precision. Now let's move to zoning out mid-conversation. You're listening until suddenly you're not. Your eyes glaze over and you're somewhere else entirely. It's not that you're bored. Your brain just made a connection and wandered off to solve a problem, revisit a memory, or imagine a possibility. That's the default mode network at work, a brain state that lights up during moments of rest or inward thought. It's the same network linked to creativity, self-reflection, and imagination. So the next time you catch yourself lost in thought, remember, you're not drifting. You're downloading insight. Talking too fast is another one. If so, many ideas flying around that your mouth can't keep up. Your sentences blur together. You jump from topic to topic, and you often have to stop and say, wait, let me start over. It's easy to dismiss as nervousness, but in many cases, it's mental velocity. High-speed thinkers often struggle to throttle their words because their brains are generating ideas faster than speech can carry them. It's not chaotic, it's turbo mode. Then there's obsessing over details. Did you rewrite that one email line 5 times? You notice the font is off by 1 pixel. Can't relax until that one sentence sounds exactly right. Some people call it being too much. Psychology calls it cognitive persistence, the ability to focus deeply, revise endlessly, and not move forward until things feel complete. It's exhausting, sure, but it's the same drive behind brilliant design, great writing, and thoughtful problem solving. People with this trait are often the ones who make the invisible things better. Another misunderstood trait, not finishing things. You start with enthusiasm, a new project, a creative idea, a plan, and then halfway through, you lose steam. That doesn't mean you're lazy or undisciplined. Often, it means you're a conceptual thinker. You get your energy from ideas, innovation, problem solving. But once the mystery is solved, or the creative rush fades, so does your motivation. You've already mentally finished the project. It's common among inventors, idea generators. And visionary thinkers, you don't lack follow-through. You just operate on a different cycle. Let's not forget the messy ones. You might have a desk that looks like a hurricane hit it. Coffee cups, scattered notes, tangled wires. It's easy to assume that mess equals mental disorganization, but that's not always true. In fact, a University of Minnesota study found that people working in messy spaces generated more creative ideas than those in clean, orderly environments. Chaos, for some brains, is stimulation. Your physical mess doesn't mean you can't think straight. It may be helping you think differently. Then there's the need for constant alone time. After social events, long calls, or back-to-back meetings, you shut down. You don't want to talk, reply, or be perceived. That's not being antisocial. It's cognitive burnout. High-functioning minds consume more mental energy. They're absorbing details, tracking emotional subtext, solving mini-problems all the time. When the battery runs out, they need solitude, not because they dislike people, but because they need space to process. That's mental detox, not isolation. And how about talking to yourself? Whether it's narrating your actions, debating with yourself out loud, or saying you've got this in the mirror, this is one of the most misunderstood behaviors around. But psychologists call it external self-regulation. Speaking your thoughts aloud activates more areas of the brain, helps you stay focused, reduces anxiety, and improves decision-making. Einstein talked to himself constantly. So did Nikola Tesla. If anything, your self-dialogue might be the most genius part of your routine. Finally, the big one, feeling like you're too much, too curious, too energetic, too emotional, intense. The truth. Most people aren't too much. They're just in environments that aren't designed for the way their minds work. If you've been called complicated, distracted, obsessive, or weird, maybe you're not the problem. Maybe your brain just sees the world with more layers, more angles, and more urgency. You're not annoying. You're wired differently. Process deeply, connect dots faster, and think in ways others might not immediately understand. Next time you catch yourself fidgeting in a meeting, talking too fast, obsessing over one detail, or going off on a mental tangent mid-conversation, don't shame yourself. You're not broken. You're just brilliant with quirks. Those quirks? That's your mind signature. So talk to yourself. Pace around the room, doodle in meetings. Start 10 projects. Question everything. Think faster than you can speak. It's not weird. It's intelligence, disguised as chaos. And if this sounded a little too familiar, it's because you've probably been misreading yourself for years. Hit subscribe because in this space, your quirks aren't judged. They're celebrated.